Good morning and greetings from Northumberland. It's Sunday the 10th of July. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. I've had to close the curtains to film because the sun is so bright. And today we come to one of those purple passages in the Gospels, one that everyone knows, the story of the Good Samaritan. But we ought to think about what is the motivation for the telling of this story, because the command to love your neighbour was well known in the Jewish world, and Jesus tells this story as a further explanation. The man, wanting to justify himself, said, "Who is my neighbour?" And then Jesus tells this story, and this story cuts through, if you like, the cultural and the racial barriers that existed at the time of Jesus. Because the priest and the Levite, the respectable people, pass by on the other side. Maybe for good reasons, maybe they had duties, maybe they had to keep ritually clean. But the whole point is that these things led to their ignoring the person in need. And the man who came along, the Samaritan, is the one who should not have been the neighbour. But he recognized the call of the law. He recognized that the neighbour was the person encountered in need. And that's what Jesus is saying to us. Your neighbour is the person who needs you to be a neighbour. Your neighbour is the person who is alongside you and who needs your help. When I needed a neighbour, were you there, were you there, was the song of Sydney Carter in the 1960s. And the creed and the colour and the name won't matter. Were you there? Were you there? This is the call of God to us. This is the call of Jesus to us, to expand our hearts, to take in those in need. Our country, well, the Conservative Party is about to choose a new leader who will be the Prime Minister of our country. That's how the system works. We elect a party and the party has a leader. And I have no argument with that. But I do say this: we should pray at this time that in the appointment of a new Prime Minister, in the appointment of a new government, these words of Jesus are to the fore. Who is my neighbour? The one who is in need. We need a society, we need a country facing a crisis where the needs of the poor and the vulnerable are put before the comfort and the wealth of others. Some people are incredibly wealthy. Many of us are quite comfortable, and some of us are struggling, and many of us are in poverty. But looking out for each other, making sure that what we have isn't at the expense of others, is an important gospel principle. And it's one we're called to put into action today. And so as we ask God's blessing on the poor and the vulnerable, as we ask God's blessing on the people of Ukraine, as we ask God's blessing on ourselves, this prayer from the propers for today. Eternal God, comfort of the afflicted and healer of the broken, you feed us at the table of life and hope. Teach us the ways of gentleness and peace, that all the world may acknowledge the kingdom of your Son, Jesus Christ our Lord. God bless you. God bless us all.